The scene is set here. Got to be a couple of hundred people waiting to see this car unveiled. And as you can see, Sky Sports F1's David Croft is with the two drivers, Sergio, Perez and Esteban Ocon, who are making a few introductory remarks. Let's just listen into those.
Maintain, the physical at the end of the race.
Your first full season, of course, in Formula One, so you obviously have had to ramp up your training regime. What about yourself? Have you had to do more than ever before? Have you had to stay off the burritos for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I couldn't have such an easy winter. I had to start quite early working on my physics. Obviously, going on to a new generation of cars, being the cars so much faster. It's like going from GP2 to Formula One. It's another step. So physically, it's going to be a lot more demanding. The races, the G-forces that we're going to generate with these cars are quite high. So yeah, I have worked quite a lot in all the aspects, but I'm sure the first day of testing is going to be really exhausted.
I reckon Esteban's had to go and buy a whole lot of new shirts as well, because his neck's doubled in size from last year. And you're going
Especially the neck.
Exactly. Well, what do you do to get fit for a season like this? What is your training regime?
Well, we as a Formula One driver, you have to be quite complete. You have to have the endurance, strength, and for that you work in many different areas, as well as the reaction, because you have to be strong, but also have the reaction ready for anything. So yeah, we do a lot of neck exercises, a lot of core, a lot of training, endurance. So the cardiovascular is quite important. Cycling, running, all kind of things.
Yeah, I have visions of you lying on the sofa, Esteban, trying to lift the dog off your head or something like that. Maybe a bit more.
Yeah, it was a bit more. Now we have specific machines, as Sergio was saying. It's a lot of reaction training, a lot of coordination training. But to put some numbers, for example, on the physical side was 9 hours of gym per week and 10 hours of cardio. So yeah, it's been very tough. But for sure, I think me and Sergio, we did our maximum to be fit this season.
Now, when we last spoke in Abu Dhabi at the end of last season, you were quite bullish about this year. You were quite confident that not only could Force India keep pace with the development of the team in recent years, but go that extra step further. What's behind that confidence?
Yeah, it makes me feel really confident that in the 4 years that I've been in the team, I've never seen such an stable organization. None of the teams that I've been with in Formula One. And it makes me feel very confident, knowing that the right people have been working in this car. I mean, we finished fourth last year. We started the season more or less okay, but at the end of the year, we were the fourth fastest team on track, and we had a couple of podiums. So that makes me feel confident, and I trust totally this team, the people that has put so much effort in this car. So I do expect to have a very big year for the team.
Your first full season, your first full rookie year, although you know the team very well. Have you set yourself goals and expectations for the 20 races to come?
Yeah, I want to learn from this team. They have a lot to teach to me. I did only 9 races, so I will have also a lot to learn from Sergio. He's a very experienced driver, a great driver. He did a lot of good things. He did a lot of good things with this team, and I hope I will learn a lot from him in the test. And then my goal is to be straight away in the pace in the first race, and then improve from there on.
Yeah, so you're kind of like the Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi to his Luke Skywalker. Is this how the relationship goes? You're the master, he's the apprentice?
Well, I think he's young, but very talented, very fast. And I'm sure he will be pushing me from race 1 onwards, and that's just in the benefit of the team. I'm looking forward also to learn from him, because having a new teammate, new people working with, is always good. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I hope I can keep him under control, which you never know what will happen. But it's always good to have someone next to you pushing you hard, which worked really well with Nico. But I think he will be quite fast, so not easy to beat.
Well, I hope you both feel the force for this year. I don't think it's time now to carry on with the questions. I think it's time to stop the anticipation and see what the VJM10 actually looks like. Sergio, Esteban, would you take your places, please, and do the honours? It is time to reveal the Sahara Force India Challenger for 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, the VJM10.
depth and experience, and the first thing you can see that it has some of those characteristics that we saw on the Renault car launched yesterday, that deltoid, curved-shaped front wing, but a very interesting trident-looking nose as well. It's got that big shark fin at the back as well. The fastest car in F1 history, we do expect this year, and can it better what the team achieved last year? I think if they held on to fourth spot, they'd be equally happy with that. But yeah, big year for this team, their 10th year in competition, and with a young Mercedes development driver and Sergio Perez looking to kick on and maybe get a drive with one of the top teams. I think they'll be hoping they can fairly regularly challenge for the podium, potentially. But let's see. Vijay Mallya, the team owner, coming between the two of them there. But great images, these. We saw the VJM10 come out from under its wraps, and the V in that VJM stands for Vijay. And this is Dr. Vijay Mallya, the team's owner. It's been a great day. The car looks fantastic, but I wonder, has a little extra edge been added to this season, Dr. Mallya, with Renault boss Cyril Abiteboul yesterday saying he thinks his team can easily beat you over the season because essentially they have more money than you have?
Well, you know, we beat Renault fairly and squarely, as also McLaren and Williams during 2016. Our resource base or talent base or our passion hasn't changed. We started developing the 2017 car back in May 2016. And despite a slow start to the 2016 season last year, we finished 4th, just behind Ferrari. And so I have every reason to be optimistic about the 2017 car. As I said, it's not about how much ammunition you have, it's the quality of ammunition that you have. And I wish Renault all luck, but I think Cyril will have to eat his words.
We look forward to seeing the action between the two teams on track, but what about continuing to go forward, Dr. Mallya? I mean, fourth in the championship is a remarkable achievement. Can you hope to maybe knock Ferrari out of that top 3, maybe take yet another step forward?
At the beginning of the 2016 season, if I had even told anyone that I was targeting to finish 4th in the championship after having finished 5th the previous year, people would maybe have laughed at me. It was very close with Williams, a point up and a point down, but ultimately at the end of the season we beat them by almost 29 points. So that was a creditable 4th position in the World Championship. There's no reason for me why I should not set my sights higher, and we dream big, we think big, because we have confidence in our talent and our abilities.
And I know, and the people in this room know that follow motorsport, that motor racing and Formula One is in your blood, and you're very proud of how you've been able to represent your country on the world stage through this team. I wonder, do you resent when it's sometimes presented, perhaps a lot back in your homeland, that this is just a plaything of yours, that you're just another rich man that has this as some kind of toy?
Unfortunately, motor racing in India is regarded as a rich man's sport, which it isn't. The Indian policymakers don't seem to learn from what's happening in so many other countries around the world. But be that as it may, I started racing when I was in school. And so I have racing in my blood. I first sponsored Formula One back in 1994. I started with Flavio Briatore and the Benetton Formula One team. Subsequently sponsored Honda. And so, yeah, I got my feet wet in Formula One many, many years ago. It is serious business. And not only is it proper, professional, serious business, I mean, you're fighting for 1,000th of a second. It can't get more competitive than that.
Just one final thought. We head into a new era without Bernie Ecclestone in charge. Are you confident the future will be bright for F1? And have you seen Mr. Ecclestone since he has changed his role?
Oh, yes, I have met Bernie, and, you know, he's always been a dear friend of mine, always will be a dear friend of mine. What he has done for Formula One is absolutely fantastic. But I guess now with new owners and the new management dispensation, with Chase Carey and his two lieutenants, Ross Brown and Shaw Bratches, I think they're saying all the right things, expressing all the right intentions. So I'm optimistic that they will push the sport ahead and that the smaller independent teams will benefit from that as well.
Despite how good it looks, the boss of the Renault team, Cyril Abiteboul, has said he doesn't think you can take them on over the course of a season. He thinks they've got too much money. Now, are they going to be your deadly rivals this year? I mean, you could have gone there. Your former teammate Nico Hülkenberg's gone there. So is that going to be a major battle between these two teams this year?
Well, I hope not. I think if we're fighting with Renault, I'll be disappointed. Or unless they do a big step, you never know in Formula One. But certainly last year they struggled. I think they will be a lot more competitive this year. But I think our target is to move up the grid, to be fighting within the top teams, to be able to be fighting regularly for podiums, and I believe that the team is in a great shape, in a great position, and let's wait and see. I think it's too early to speak where we're gonna be, but certainly Renault will be a tough challenger.
It's interesting in this close season. A lot has happened. Amongst other things, there's been an election in America. A lot of modern sportsmen these days don't take a stand on issues that are important to them. You, on the subject of your country and how proud you are of it, you have taken a stand. I mean, we're seeing images now of this image of you at the racetrack saying, let's build bridges, not walls. How will you feel going to America for the race there this year?
No, we'll feel great. I think, one person will not change what I think of America. I think America is a great country, but sometimes they don't have the right leaders. But certainly, I love America and I spend a lot of time there, so I have no problems at all going to there.
Okay, fair enough. And on track, you say you want to move onwards and upwards. What about some of the teams behind you, though, also looking to make positions? The likes of McLaren, how competitive might they be? Might they be another that takes a step forward this year?
I think everyone is in the same position as us, Everyone wants to move forward. We beat a lot of big teams last year. I think we got to beat them again and look forward to beat the top teams, But, you have McLaren, you have Williams, you have Renault that are going to be tough to beat this year. But I fully believe in the potential of this car. I fully believe in the potential of this team. So I see no reason why we shouldn't be so positive for this season.
And one last thought, how exciting is it going to be zooming around Kops and Maggots and Beckett's, an extra maybe, 30 kilometers an hour, maybe more than that with all this extra downforce?
It will be very, very exciting. The amount of speed that these cars are going to be cornering, the cornering speed is going to be huge.
Now, you're almost as tall as these guys I've been talking about, 6'2", 6'3", thereabouts, but you've only got the weight of, a light middleweight or something like that. However, you do, Esteban, have the neck, something like a Mike Tyson. So is that where you've been concentrating your work all winter?
Yeah, it was overall a lot of things, but especially the neck for sure. That's where we are going to suffer the most, especially this year with those cars. So yeah, we had to be ready in any condition. We don't know really what to expect yet. But for sure my training regime has been very hard, pushing hard, but also having a lot of food. I was on protein diet. I took 5 kilos of muscle, only 1% of fat. So that was a good ratio, and I'm very happy with the progress made.
Because I know you've got a friend who's a boxer, so you've not been sparring with him or anything like that, have you?
No, but I hold the bag when he's training, and we go running together. We do a lot of stuff together, and he's on the list for the French Championship. But no, he's also training his neck, but different types. So that was interesting to see, actually.
Fair enough. What's interesting, though, you're obviously a young driver. This will be your first full season in Formula One. You're coming into a team with a very experienced guy in the other car, Sergio Perez, a bit like Max Verstappen did at Red Bull, a bit like Daniel Ricciardo before him. Do you have to assert yourself, just make your presence known in the team for who you are and stand up for what you want to do?
Well, I have big ambitions, but the team have big ambitions as well. They know I'm new. They know I have to learn a lot, but they believe in me, and they welcome me very well in the team, and I'm happy about that. We had a lot of preparation. We had the time to prepare everything. It's been a long time since I didn't have a preparation like that, so I feel 100% ready.
Good. And you're also a Mercedes development driver. You'll be here for 2 years. The last time I spoke to you, Mercedes had a driving vacancy, and you were being asked all kinds of questions about that situation. Do you have now to forget about Mercedes and focus firmly on Force India?
Yeah, I've always been focusing on Force India. I mean, I don't really focus on rumors or talks. I mean, I'm very happy that it turned out to be driving for Force India, and I'm glad I have a 2-year contract with them.
One last thought, and looking at the car, one of the things people are worried about is that with all this extra aerodynamics, when you're following behind another car, that air will detach from the car and you won't be able to really put pressure on a car in front. In the simulator, is there anything you sense that kind of explains how that's going to feel like in practice?
No, unfortunately, no. You can't simulate that in the sim. When you drive, it's on perfect condition. You can choose the temperature, you can choose everything. But there is, we didn't simulate on turbulence air to see how it was. But yeah, the only point that then can be still good for overtaking is that we have more drag. When we open the DRS, then you have more top speed, and the car in front is bigger and taking more air away as well, so you can have a better tow. Then you will come for further away because you lose the air also in the corner. But at the end, if you catch at the end of the straight, it's still good, but let's see.
It'd be nice for you to be racing with other cars. Definitely. Compared to last year when you were right at the back with Manor. What about maybe starting the season ahead of Ferrari?
I would sign directly.
Okay, great stuff. Listen, great stuff. You look well, yeah. Welterweight, like middleweight boxer, and who's going to pack a punch, I think, for Force India this year. That's Esteban Ocon.